The Weekly Standard, which is, of course, a conservative publication, has released audio of Steve King at a campaign event. Now, this is a campaign event, obviously, before the midterm elections. The Weekly Standard had said that they had audio of him saying some racist things or xenophobic things toward Mexicans and immigrants, specifically referring to them as dirt. And Steve King was like, oh, I dare you to release that audio, I dare you. And Weekly Standard was like, okay, we'll release the audio. So they did. Now I wanna give you a little bit of context before we have you listen to the audio. Apparently at this campaign event, Steve King was bragging about his pheasant noodle soup and how he likes to put jalapenos in there. So in the beginning of the statement, you're gonna hear about that, and it is relevant in giving you context into how he insults immigrants. So just listen to the full context and then we'll fill in some blanks later.
I made a big old batch of my patented pheasant noodle soup for everybody. It took us 2 days to eat it all, but everybody loved it. And when I get it all put together, then I put about a half a dozen jalapeno peppers, just whole, drop them, float them around in there. It scares off some of the people, so there's a little more for the rest of us to eat.
Yeah, the jalapeno peppers. Yeah, do me.
I raised a bunch this year, and they don't have enough buffalo. So I guess I'm gonna have to go get some dirt from Mexico to grow the next batch.
Trust me, it's on its way.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of dirt. It's coming from West Coast too, and a lot of other places besides. This is the most dirt we've ever seen. This is actually not supposed to start for the 6 minutes, is it? But so I would just kind of chat informally here until things get rolling.
Okay, I want to be clear. His first reference to dirt was not wrong. There was nothing wrong with it. He said, I guess I'm gonna have to go and get some dirt from Mexico to grow the next batch for his jalapeno peppers. Nothing wrong with that at all, okay? And I don't think he meant it in any bad way. It's just when the audience member said, trust me, it's already on its way, the dirt from Mexico. That's when he said, yeah, there's plenty of dirt coming from the West Coast too. There are no reports of soil coming from the West Coast. So he means Mexicans.
Yeah, he means Mexicans. I wonder if he considers it dirt when taxpayer money from the West Coast, specifically states like California, go toward his state in the form of subsidizing welfare programs and things like that. Is that dirt? I don't know, just curious. I know that's a separate issue, but he has some strong feelings about the West Coast. You know, and conservatives throughout the country have some strong feelings about California specifically. Do you know how much California and its taxpayers federally subsidize welfare programs for states like Mississippi? Just look into it. Anyway.
Yeah, so look, I got no love for the Weekly Standard. They house a lot of the neocons that started the Iraq War, but in this case, the evidence is in the tape. There's no question about it. So I don't know why he did it, because I guess because he's not that bright. He's like, oh yeah, prove it. And they're like, yeah, okay, here's the tape. And it's clear as day, he says. And then he continues after the West Coast thing, as you guys all heard for yourselves. A lot of other places besides, this is the most dirt we've ever seen. If they just stuck with the jalapeno peppers, there would have been nothing wrong with this conversation. It's not about being overly sensitive. No, they clearly changed at that point, talk about people coming from the West Coast and Mexico and started referring to them as dirt. And so he's a white supremacist, and I'm pretty proud of it. He's retweeted neo-Nazis, and then when it's explained to him, that guy's a neo-Nazi, he's like, I don't apologize for it, I'm gonna keep it up. And he said, you can't populate, a savior culture with other people's babies. What do you mean other people's babies? What do you mean other people, right? So anyway, this is all well documented. In fact, the National Republican Congressional Committee Chairman, Representative Steve Steyer, said, condemned Steve King during the campaign. So that's the leader of the Republicans trying to get more Republicans into the House. And he said, we must stand up against white supremacy. Wow, so that is the Republican leader in the House trying to get more Republicans elected, saying basically he's a white supremacist and we got to get away from him. Now, of course, on the other hand, Chuck Grassley, also from Iowa, also a Republican, and Ted Cruz, instead of going the other way, embraced Steve King during the campaign and said that they got his back.
Yep.
So that is not surprising. Now there's talk about whether they should expel him from Congress, and you'd need a 2/3 of the vote of the House. No. They voted for him. So that district, if you like Steve King, congratulations, that's your white supremacist representative. He represents you guys. You had a close election. You had another choice. You had J.D. Scholten, a wonderful candidate on the other side, and you chose a white supremacist to represent you. What does that make you? Okay, live with it. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.